So today I want to talk about a film called House on Haunted Hill. I know the name is kind of confusing. You may mess it up with Haunting of Hill House, but this film is actually a remake of a film of the same name. It was actually made by William Castle, I think in the 1940s or 50s. And during those era, what you have to know about William Castle is that he is a horror director who used a lot of gimmicks in his film. His films have real life props. Sometimes there would be like smoke in his theaters, and sometimes he would get some kind of smells to have a sort of a 4D or 5D effect, and sometimes he would just bring out skeletons in the theater, and a lot of times he would let their audiences choose what kind of ending they want, stuff like that. He was basically a gimmicky director, and during a lot of directors in that era, he also employs certain kind of tactics. So the film is also kind of gimmicky, and even though I've not seen that film, I know about that film, and so I have a certain amount of idea. So off of that, this film was remade in 1999. It was directed by William Malone, and right off the bat, this is not a good film. I do not recommend this film, and I think you should be spending this time on something else, and that would be worth your while rather than spending time on this film, because this film is not good. So out of the way, there were some key issues with this film. First of all, I knew this film was kind of gimmicky, and so at times you weren't even sure, were you watching a satire film or is it just a bad filmmaking. All of the sets looked made up, the lightings were off. In a horror film there were all kinds of lights. It somehow for some reason opened with a montage of something that you would think would be out of a Tim Burton Batman film or a Joel Schumacher Batman film, so that was kind of weird. And besides than that, there were a lot of issues. A particular example, in two or three of the scenes they used this weird editing tactics which I didn't get at all. It's like three of the scenes out of nowhere would be played in a non-linear way. For example, if it was supposed to happen in 1 and 2 and third act, they would play the third act for before, and then the second and the first act. I don't get it. It's completely weird and completely pointless, and it doesn't add anything to the film. Maybe if it had some gimmick out of it, I don't know. Or if you were supposed to get something in the theater when you're watching it, maybe that would have been a pleasure. But besides than that, it's just a nonsense at best, and at worst it's just makes you totally furious at this film. So this film had a lot of early 2000 gimmicks. The costumes, the dialogues, all of were kind of extremely dated, even though the film is like 20 years old. And I know 1999 was a great year for film, so that is one of the particular reasons why I chose this film to watch. I would thought that, or at least I hope that I would see a William Castle film with some kind of cool antics, or at least a good story, but it's nothing like that. It's basically Agatha Christie's, and then there were none. A bunch of strangers get to call into a film, and then one of them gets picked one by one with some horror sprints into it. It's just horrible. And then there's few CGI shots that they called quote unquote Lovecraftian, but it's just the worst, and it's almost horrible. So along with the editing, the set designs, the productions, the costumes, for me none of the things worked. That's why I didn't recommend to you, and I think your time will be worthwhile watching something else. But now, on the good side, who are the people that can watch this film? If you like Jeffrey Rush, he's absolutely brilliant in this film. Famke Janssen is also good in this film. Other characters like Ali Larter and Tay Dixon and Chris Kattan, they're not that good. I've seen Chris Kattan done good things, but I'm not a personal fan of his, and his comedies I think is a little off. And if you are into a film that is extremely disposable and you get pleasure out of those films, or those guilty pleasure watches, I think that would be your cue and you can watch this film. But besides that, I do not recommend this film. I give this 1 out of 5. Bye.